Hi table tennis junkies, I'm going to be teaching you the fast backhand backspin serve today. This was actually a requested serve in a comment from another video, so if you have any serves that you'd like me to teach, put it in the comments and I'll make a video for it. Before we get started, remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel. It's free for you and it actually really does help my channel grow, and only about 30% of my viewership right now are from subscribers, so if you don't mind doing that, that'd be great. With that being said, let's get into it. About the grip. So the grip, like the other backhand serves, you have two options. You have the shake hands grip, or what I like to call the hammer grip, which is you just basically take the index finger off, the thumb stays the same. And I like to use the hammer grip because it helps keep my wrist steady throughout the stroke, but it's just a preference thing. You can choose either one is fine. If you're a pen hold player, you don't need to change the grip at all. Just keep that same grip throughout the whole stroke. For the stance on the serve, there are two ways you can stand. There's the parallel stance where you're kind of just facing the table. This is the way that I like to serve it because it simplifies the serve and the spin on the serve. There's also the more perpendicular stance where you're kind of facing away from the table. I'll show you how to do both in a minute, but the benefit to the more perpendicular stance is that it'll help you to get better side spin on the ball. Both are good, and it's really just totally up to you on just like personal preference on which one you choose. Okay, so for the grip and for the stance, all you really want to do is you want to match it with your short serve. So if you're used to serving short this way, then serve fast this way. If you are used to serving short this way with the squared up stance, then serve fast with that same squared up stance. Same with the grip. If you are serving with the shake hands grip, then just do the same grip for both the short serve and for the fast serve. The swing on this one is pretty simple. So with the backhand serve, I like to start with my racket hand crossed over the ball hand. So I'll start the serve like this. As I throw the ball up, I'm going to reach back by my ear or by my shoulder is fine. And then I'm just basically going to be sweeping across the ball and with a flat racket. So when you're contacting the ball, you're going to want to contact the southern hemisphere of the ball. That'll help generate the backspin. Also, as you swing through it, keep your elbow down. So if you pull up on your elbow, that's going to generate topspin. So you're going to want to keep the elbow down on the serve to keep the backspin. When you reach back, it's really important to get back pretty far. That's why I say by the ear or the shoulder. You want to have a pretty good runway leading up to the ball, the contact of the ball. Because if you have a short runway, you're not going to get much racket speed, and then the ball is going to move slow. So if you have a good backswing, you'll have better racket speed and more potential for a fast serve. Okay, here's the backhand serve in action with the squared up stance. Another thing with my stance is I actually like to keep it pretty wide for this serve. That'll help keep everything low, but just be careful if you have a wide stance to kind of get out of it. It's tough to move if your stance is too wide. Here's the same serve with a more perpendicular stance. As far as the location for the backhand serve, I like to serve the fast one cross court into my opponent's backhand, and I do that for two reasons. The first is because the side spin on the backhand serve is best done down the line into my opponent's forehand, assuming that we're both right-handed. So a good opponent is going to probably be looking for that and maybe stepped over a little bit into their forehand. So the backhand will be a little bit more vulnerable. Another reason is it's tough to get good speed on the backhand serve. So if you just mishit it, or maybe you're just not serving it as fast as maybe like the pendulum serve fast, if you do that into the forehand, it's kind of vulnerable on that side. So I like to kind of just pin them into the backhand and keep it on that side. So it's a lot harder to attack a fast serve with the backhand than it is with the forehand. I have several backhand serve tutorials where I've talked about the stance, but I really want to go into a little bit more detail on today's video on why you would choose one stance and not the other, or vice versa. For my game, I generally like to use the more squared up stance on my backhand serve, the one that reduces the potential for side spin. I do this for a reason, but first I want to say that it does not completely eliminate the ability to serve side spin, it just makes it harder. So why would I serve that way? Well, when I serve a ball with a lot of side spin on it, the ball will come back with some of that same side spin from the serve. And when I serve a ball without side spin, the ball is going to come back much cleaner, and it'll make it easier to follow up with a more aggressive attack as a third ball. So I like to categorize my serves into two sets. I have more tricky serves with a lot of spin, a lot of side spin on it. The tomahawk serve, or the windshield wiper serve, or the pendulum serve would generally fall into the more tricky serve category. Not always, but generally they would. And they'll have a lot of spin, a lot of side spin, and they'll be a lot tougher for my opponents to return. But when they do, there's going to be more side spin on the ball. It's going to be kind of gooey on the return. So on that third ball, I'll have to really kind of watch for that extra side spin and the movement on it. So I'll need to be more careful. And then I have more setup serves. So the backhand serve would be more of a setup serve in my game. It's not always that way, but for my game it generally is. And this one is going to be more of like a straight spin, not a whole lot of side spin. So when my opponent returns it, there's not going to be like any weird bounces. It's going to be really clean, so I can be more aggressive on the third ball. And with setup serves, I'm going to be able to, because there's not a whole lot of motion or side spin, I'm going to be able to place the ball better, and I'm going to be able to keep it low, and those will also help with the third ball attack for preparing for that. And that kind of falls back into the stance. So I'm not really trying to add a whole lot of side spin on it. And so for that reason, I just kind of have a nice squared up stance, and it'll allow me to just do a nice clean serve with it. I'm probably not going to win the point outright with like a setup serve, but I don't really need to. That's not really the purpose of the serve. The purpose of the serve is to have a nice clean ball for a third ball attack. Any serve you do can be tailored to be either like a tricky serve or a setup serve. It's really up to you on how you want to develop your game and develop your serves. I don't recommend you do the backhand serve one way or the other. For my personal style in my game, I generally will use it as a setup serve, which is why I keep like just the more squared up stance. But it's a personal preference, and it's up to you whether you want to do it that way, or maybe you want to mix it. Sometimes you might want to do this way, and sometimes you want to do it this way. Just be careful you don't confuse yourself, and you know exactly the ball you're serving and the ball you're going to be getting back. One way that I apply the two different styles of serves is if things are really going good and I'm playing well and I'm hitting a lot of shots, I'll probably do more tricky serves. And if I'm feeling nervous, or if I feel like I'm missing shots for no reason, I'll simplify my serves. And what that'll do is if I can eliminate factors, so if I'm serving a lot of side spin and the ball's coming back kind of weird and it's moving, I can kind of eliminate that by just serving simple and trying to get right into the rally. And that way, once I kind of get that momentum going and the rally's going, I'll feel better about my shots, and I'll start to play better. So if you want to kind of eliminate some elements in the game, just serve simple and try to get right into the rally. So how would I prepare for the next shot after doing the fast backhand backspin serve? Well, with most fast serves, I would take a step back from the table and prepare to rally. With this one, it's a little bit different though, because it's backspin and going into the backhand court. I don't want to step too far back because it's a pretty tough ball to loop aggressively, so I don't need that space. A lot of times my opponent is going to do something more passive. So if they do something like a push or something more passive, I don't want to be real far back from the table. I actually want to be pretty close to the table. If they do loop it with that backspin on it, it's going to generally land maybe a little shorter or be a little bit like a softer loop. So I don't need to be real far back from the table on that one either. I actually want to be a little bit closer. So after the backhand backspin fast serve, I'll probably take like a half a step back, but I don't want to be too far back after the serve. And I'll probably be looking to attack if they do something passive, and if they do like maybe a soft backspin loop, I'd probably shoot for a counterattack after that one. So how would I return the serve if somebody did it to me? Well, the first thing I'd want to do is I'd want to shorten my stroke because the ball's coming fast. When the ball's coming fast, I don't need to add any extra power. The ball already has that power, so I don't need to add anything extra. Another thing with that is if the ball is coming fast and I have a big swing, it's going to be hard to find that good contact point. So I'd want to be a little bit shorter and more precise with my swing. I'd also want to account for the backspin. So for the backspin, I would dip my racket low and give it some lift. And because of the speed and the spin on the ball, I'd probably be a little bit more passive with my attack and really try to place the ball well. Recapping on the tips from today, remember to start back by your ear or your shoulder. That way you have a better runway leading up to the ball. That'll help you with better racket speed and better ball speed. You can change your grip and your stance to suit your style, but remember to match the fast backhand serve with that of the short backhand serve. You just want them to be the same, so that way it's easier to disguise the fast serve. Stay underneath the ball. That'll help you generate backspin, so you'll want to have more of a flat racket coming through this stroke. And after the serve, don't back up too much because the return is going to be a little bit tougher for your opponent with the location and the spin on the ball. A lot of times it'll come back kind of slow or passive, so you don't want to back up too much after the serve. That's all for this week's video. Make sure you like it and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Also, if you have any serve requests, put those in the comments and I'll make a video for it. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you next week.